Hello fellow homesteaders, we are going to make homemade natural deodorant today. This video is going to feature all the ingredients you need here to make a solid traditional stick type of deodorant like you'd buy from the store. And in the later part of the article there will be a photo tutorial to show you how to make a spray deodorant if you prefer that method better. This is just a regular deodorant container like you'd buy from the store, rinsed out clean. I had quite a collection of these saved up from friends and families when I would make natural deodorants and share them. You can also buy these in a clear kind of a cream color container from Amazon, Etsy, those types of suppliers. And you can use them. It'll still pull up and everything as long as you keep the little plastic piece in there at the bottom. It will still roll up. You can use like a jelly jar from canning. I have one similar right here. This holds my overflow spices, but something kind of like this. About that tall, just wipe your fingers across to get out the deodorant like you would with the old cocoa butter copper tone sun tanning stuff. And you can also just use a red Solo cup or whatever color Solo cup you have. You can fill it up as far as you need, and once it dries and solidifies you can just take scissors and cut it down smaller if you need to, or fill the whole thing up and then just cut it as you need to. Same finger swipe to get your deodorant out. It works fine that way. I have my water in a pot here. Very hot pot, shouldn't have touched it. Getting ready to bring it to a boil. I don't have a double boiler. I have this little chocolate melt fondue kind of a thing I used to use. Kept one just for crafting, and that works great as a double boiler. They're like $12 or $15. So if you do a lot of craft projects or making your own deodorant, those are really handy. It definitely alleviates the concern about scorching almost entirely. Not entirely, but almost. But that broke, so I'm just going to use a very simple method of putting all my ingredients in a coffee cup, setting it down in here into my pot where I bring the water to a boil. You only want the water to come up maybe a quarter to halfway up your coffee cup. And so I'm going to go ahead and get my 1 tablespoon of my beeswax. I ordered this from Amazon, but they have it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or if you have a bulk food store in your community, they have them there. Get a nice heaping 1 tablespoon. You can get the big chunks of beeswax like you would for candle making and just snip it off, but you really need to chunk it so that it melts as quickly as your other ingredients and they don't scorch. These pastils, pellets, whatever you want to call them, they're very, very thin. They melt pretty quickly. So I have my 1 tablespoon of the beeswax in there. And I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of of my shea butter. And then 2 tablespoons of the coconut oil. Make sure I do not have that backwards. You have 1 tablespoon of beeswax, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, and 1 tablespoon of shea butter. I've got a little chunk in here where it got hard. Alright, I'm going to put that in. Open up my coconut oil. Lots of times when you see people doing recipes with coconut oil, they'll tell you extra virgin or pure blend or pressed. I'm not sure what the big difference is. I use coconut oil for a lot of home remedies, home cleaning, definitely lots of first aid. And I just buy, I want to make sure it's, you know, non-GMO, organic along that line. Sometimes you buy honey or things at the store and you're not even really buying something that resembles the natural product as it's supposed to be. But as far as going in for an expensive name brand or something like that, I didn't do that with either my oils, my essential oils, or the coconut oil. Sometimes you're just, most of the time in my opinion, you're just paying for the label. You want to be a clean, natural ingredient, but you don't, I'm not seeing any potency or use differences just simply because you're paying a higher price tag. But here's all my solid ingredients in here. Again, the shea butter, the beeswax, and the coconut oil. And I'm going to set it down to my water, which is already boiling. And you need to continue to stir. The coconut oil will definitely melt a lot more quickly than everything else. The shea butter next, but it does take the beeswax pastils a little bit longer, or if you finally chunk beeswax from a larger craft or cheese preserving log, you just got to stir it around, and it won't take very long at all to melt. But you do have to keep it from scorching the entire time and burning. Forgot to have a pot holder handy. I will need that to get my cup back up out of this hot pot of water. If you do not have coconut oil, or for some reason you have some kind of allergic reaction to coconut, you can also use almond oil, olive oil, argan oil, avocado oil, jojoba oil. Any type of natural carrier oil really works. I prefer the coconut oil because of the healing properties that it has. If you have any type of a skin rash, or you want to counteract the abrasiveness of the baking soda in the underarm area, that will help. Oh, it's still not melted entirely here. That's very important. You gotta make sure the beeswax melts entirely so it hardens not just against itself, but hardens your entire natural deodorant stick. But the coconut oil, it does have great healing properties. You have a little cut or something, it will help heal it, and I've found that it really helps prevent any kind of a burning or itching if you do have a little shaving cut or shaving rash, that prevents the baking soda from irritating your skin. Almost all melted. Oh, and your hand does get hot over top of this. I do miss my little chocolate melt thing. That would have been a whole lot easier. But this is almost done. I can go ahead. When I take it out, you need to add your other ingredients as quickly as possible so that it doesn't harden. The beeswax starts to work towards a harder state even more quickly than the coconut oil, which is just a little bit ironic. But once I take it off, I'm going to be putting all the other ingredients in. The bentonite clay, cornstarch, my baking soda, my essential oils. I'd say we're about ready. Lift out my husband's firefighter coffee cup here. Whew. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the baking soda. It is 1 tablespoon of baking soda, and you can double, quadruple. You can make this in a bigger batch, and being a solid, it's going to keep a very long time. If you live in a hot climate or it's summertime, you're going to take this camping. I know people voice concerns about the coconut oil deodorant need to be kept in the refrigerator the entire time because it will get melty. I have not ever had that experience, and even in the summertime, I've not had it become drippy if you're out working outdoors or doing something like that. I'm using some lemongrass here. You can really mix in whatever type of essential oils that suit you best, or for any of their antiviral or antibacterial properties, or simply for scent. But I do recommend putting some tea tree oil in there. It's a great antibacterial. It doesn't smell very good, hence why I'm mixing in some good smelling ingredients here. Now adding my 2 tablespoons. Yes, the tea tree oil does not smell good, but I still use it for as many things, if not more, as the coconut oil. So I'm putting in my 2 tablespoons of the cornstarch. Level it off. And there's 1. Make sure you get all your cornstarch out here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a little stir. Now I'm putting a heavier ingredient in it so it mixes together thoroughly. I'm still in a liquid format, but because of the cornstarch, it is starting to thicken up. I'll put my other cornstarch in. So after we took it off the stove, we added our essential oils and our baking soda and the cornstarch. I'm going to go ahead and give it another stir. And I believe the only thing that I still need to add is a teaspoon or a tablespoon and a half rather of the bentonite clay. If you don't have bentonite clay, you can omit that. It's not going to hurt anything. It just will help it soak up moisture more. Bentonite clay is wonderful for your skin to keep it from getting dry, prevent rashes. So I don't really want to say it's an optional ingredient because it's really an essential part of this recipe, but the recipe will turn out just fine without it. It will just be better with it. And if you don't have some of these ingredients on hand, you really want to try it today, or you have to wait until payday to order some, or to drive somewhere if you live in a rural area like I do, and I would say the majority of homesteaders do, but that doesn't mean we don't love you suburban and urban homesteaders. Glad to have you. Wonderful you're having a self-reliant lifestyle. But if you want to go ahead and try it with what you have on hand to see what you have that might work, what you can leave out, or adjust a little bit in the measurements, just scroll on down through the article and it will show you some alternatives. So my mixture's hardening up, and because of the bentonite clay, it gives a little thicker color. If you're worried about that, if you're wearing something white or sheer, you can just go ahead and omit the bentonite clay. So it's thickening up already. I see a few lumps in there. You want to stir it so it's like a cake batter. Don't want to leave a bunch of lumps in it. But it's nothing that you're going to need a funnel to pour. It is kind of like a batter consistency. And it does smell good. With the mixtures of everything together, it kind of morphs that tea tree smell. I think tea tree smells kind of like turpentine. So it's not the most pleasantly scented essential oil. But it's okay. It's potent, natural, antiviral, and Native Americans said it was nature's antibiotic. And I believe that they're right. So I can do with the stink. But don't worry about sweating out that smell. I should point that out, because it does not happen. And if you're not sure, you want to leave it out, you want to reduce the amount just to make sure, especially if you're going to be using something with a lot of heavy perspiration, or wearing something sheer sleeveless, go ahead. I have never had anybody say, wow, you smell like turpentine, or you stink of tea tree oil. You can leave the essential oils out altogether if you don't want to have a deodorant with any scent. That's not a problem. This is a very flexible recipe. Now it's starting to get a little thicker, and it's only been off the stove for just a couple of minutes. I about have my container filled up here. And I am going to put this in the refrigerator because I'm a woman of little patience. Unless it comes to kids, critters, or old people. I don't have a lot of patience left anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the refrigerator, and that will make it harden up more quickly. I started to mention earlier something about the coconut oil. I store mine in the cabinet in the bathroom, and it gets hot in there with in our new house, our smaller house here on the homestead. Went from a large house, a small in-town, or I guess a normal size in-town lot, to a small town, nice little backyard, to a small house on lots of beautiful land, overflowing here a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take that off and put it in my cup for the next batch. But in our new house, the laundry room is in the bathroom, so it does get very hot in there. And if I'm running laundry during the workday while I'm writing or making projects, I shut the door because it's noisy. So you can walk in there and it does get very humid, and I've never had the coconut oil melt. So here's what a finished stick looks like, nice and smooth across the top. Again, I wish I could have shown you what it looked like, but I had to stir everything in so quickly without using the bentonite clay. And arrowroot powder will give it a darker shade also, not quite this dark. It had, I guess, a color that was somewhere between white and what the beeswax looked like. So it was not exactly white, but it was an off-white to a cream that shouldn't show through with a white shirt or anything that's going to stick out on you. And this, when you put it on, if you're wearing something sleeveless, you're still not going to see any discoloration caused by this. It melds right into the skin no matter what your skin tone is. My daughter's very pale, and I have a nice darker skin tone because I like to tan more than she does. So it blends in with both of our skin tones. It doesn't go on quite so dark. As you can see, I get a little bit of this drying here in my finger. I can spread it out, and it doesn't take a whole lot. Don't think because it's all natural you have to put on a ton to make it work. You don't. And it doesn't have that gritty feel to it. The regular store-bought deodorant was kind of sticky, like when I wash this container out, or if you put it on when your skin's a little bit wet, it just kind of feels kind of glumpy. This does not feel that way. It is so soft, you just would love to run your hands through it like it would be a lotion. But as it dries out onto your skin, and it's always good to wait a couple minutes, I would suggest 5 before you put clothing on, just to let it get on there nice and hard and dried out. But there it is on the skin. There's really, and then that's very light pale skin there on the underside of my hand. But it blends in really well. But still, if you have a concern, if your skin tone is really pale or you're going sleeveless, just, don't use a bentonite clay. Maybe go light on the arrowroot, or just use cornstarch like I did. And it will have a much lighter color. I rub some around there and let it dry a bit. See it on the palm of my hand. You can't really see it there, just spread out. So it does have a little bit of a color to it. That's something you'll have to Make a decision about what suits you best and what suits your skin tone. But it's already starting to harden up, and the container is very warm to the touch. If I was to let this dry at room temperature, it would probably take 3 to 4 hours. In the refrigerator, about half an hour, and it would be dry. If you want to make little ones of these so they're more portable, or just so they're easier to use, you might not have something handy to put it in, you can use wax melts. If you make your own wax melts, or candies, or ice cubes, any kind of silicone tray like that, you can make small ones. If you look at our article here in the New Life in the Homestead where we did make all natural wax melts, you can see the little trays that I use. They might, they are right here handy. If you want to make little mini deodorants and just put them in a bowl, something like that, where you can just pick it up and rub it on, these little rectangular ones here are perfect. You could give them as gifts to other folks to introduce them to natural deodorants, and share this article, print it off so they can see why all the chemicals that are in store-bought ones that they might not like. And they're nice, little inexpensive, easy to use. Just turn them over, and it's rubbery here on back. Give them a squeeze. These are not from some expensive kitchen store. They are from the Dollar Tree. I'm sure you can find some similar in your area, and those make great holders for little deodorants as well. If you tried this recipe and had any problems with it, or you liked it, please share in our comments section. If you have other variations, please share that too. We're all in this together, as my friend Survivor Jane says, and any homesteading help we can give to each other, or ways to live a lower tox life, I would be happy to hear.